Hi, today we're going to make some gear shift knobs, and I inlaid a little bit of paint in the tops of these, but you can do different color woods or even some segmented ones. I've been wanting to do some segmented stuff for a long time, but I haven't got my table saw set up yet, so I haven't even played around with it yet, but I think it'd be cool. Some segmented ones or some inlay different things. I put the paint chips because that's what I have and they're awesome, so that's what I'm doing. One quick note though, don't listen to me in this video because the guy at the plastic store told me to use the, whatever it is, I can't find it now, it's E6000 to epoxy the acrylic to wood. It doesn't work. I just went to go get this one off of my out of my truck, and the thing just starts spinning in there, and it's been drying for 2 days now. So unless the E6000 takes 4 or 5 days to bond, it doesn't work. So you need to figure out something else, and I need to figure out something else with this one now that I already put together, and I don't know what. So I'll figure that out. Other than that, cool little project. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, here's the paint insert I'm going to use on this one. I was going to use this for a box, but I decided I wanted to put it on here. But in order to do that, because I'm going to drill down through the center of it, I need to make a little nub or some sort of insert that goes in there and covers up the plug that I'm going to put in it. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to make it out of walnut real quick. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring it down to fit right inside of there, and I really don't want it to stick up very far. I want you to be able to see the paint all the way around. There we go, that's really close. And then with sanding, it'll bring it down, right down. Okay, then I just parted it off and that'll fit right in there. I'll put a finish on it and just right down there to cover up the little sleeve. All right, I bought a bundle of these. It's just like end scraps, and I'm not sure what kind of wood this is. Only one of them had a label on it. So I'm going to turn the dust collector on, and I'll just put a little bit of music, but all I'm going to do is true it up and put a tenon down on one end. So I'll do that real quick. All right, I went ahead and just put it in the chuck, and I'm going to go ahead and give it its shape, and then we'll drill some holes in it, and I'm going to turn the dust collector back on to get rid of some of the dust on it. Okay. All right, there I give it the basic shape, and I'm just going to switch chucks here and put in my Jacobs chuck, and then we'll drill into it. All right, I went to a plastic store here in Portland and got some acrylic plastic, and it's soft. It's not brittle, and you really want to get the soft one so that the threads will cut into it. And all I did was drill a hole down for the size of my shifter. What I did is I measured the outside diameter of it, and then I just went one bit under that so that the threads have something to bite into. So I have this all set up, and I'm gonna drill into it just enough, just a little bit more than this, so it slides right in there. Turn the lathe speed down. Okay, now I want to switch bits, and I want to drill a hole with a regular drill bit all the way through it. So everything's lined up, it's all centered, so that when you put it on, it comes up and meets right in that hole. And again, the size of this one is going to vary on the shaft that goes down. Most of them actually have the thread, and they go down and taper out a little bit. Mine doesn't taper out a whole lot, but I've seen some that, they get really big at the bottom. So depending on how far this is going to go in and thread, you need to measure and calculate what size it's going to need when it hits bottom here. So. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in just with a skew chisel here and make a little recess so that this will fit right in it. Okay, and then that sits right in there, and I need to recalculate the depth of the hole because I took off some of that. Wasn't thinking about that. And then my little plug there will fit right in the center. So, all right, I'm going to glue this in, and I asked the guy at the plastic store, and this is what he said to use. So that's what I'm going with. He said it'll bond wood and plastic together, so that's what I'm doing. And it goes in there, I have it to go in there really tight, so it just barely needs anything on it. So I'm just wiping a little around the outside. It goes in there so tight. I just took my tailstock, put it up there, and pushed it in. Right to the bottom. Wiped off the excess. When I did the first one, I was worried about it getting in the hole, but it's pushing all back here, so I doubt there's anything filling up that hole on the other end. All right, now because I already have my my little paint chip, I had it cleared. I had some, I put Automotive clear on it so it shines like that. Can you see that? It's just gorgeous. All right, so I don't want to hit it with the sandpaper or anything else, so I'm going to sand this whole thing and finish it, and then epoxy that in too. So I'm going to do that, and I'll finish that little nub that goes in the center there. I'll just do that by hand real quick. All right, so I'm going to turn the dust collector back on, sand the whole thing up dry, and then put a finish on it. I have it all sanded up. I probably didn't even need the dust collector on. There was more dust when I was turning it than there was sanding it. It just instantly clogged up the paper. There's a lot of oil in whatever that is. All right, I'm gonna put on a polyurethane finish, just a wipe on one. But for something like this, that's gonna be out in your car, in the heat, in the sun, I would get a UV protection seal. Brendan did used a 5-minute epoxy, and the finish came out just fabulous the other day. I haven't had a chance to play around with it, but that might just make it look gorgeous. I normally don't like high gloss finishes, but for something like this, I think it would look great and actually protect it too. But I just have a wipe on polyurethane, so I'm just gonna put that on, and maybe I'll mess around with that epoxy, because I think that would really bring out the shine and protect it too for something like this. All right, I'm just going to let this dry, and then we will put the insert in. All right, I'm just going to brush it on here. This one is going to be kind of tricky because I need to get that little insert in there too. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but we're about to find out. Just don't want very much of it on, and I don't want it sticking through, getting on the inside of it. All right. All right, there we go. Now I will figure something out so I can get some pressure on this thing. Okay, I'm gonna let that all set up for a couple hours, and then we'll come back. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and part it off, and I'm just gonna use a skew. Just gonna bring this down a little bit. All right, there we go. My problem was my hole didn't come all the way through, and I know it's right there, so I'm just going to clean that up a little bit and drill that out by hand. And then glue my plug back in. It didn't stay. I didn't have enough epoxy around the side of it, or I guess, or let it dry up long enough, or harden up long enough. All right, there we go. See the little inlay in there. Yeah, I think you can do some fun stuff with it. Quick note: I didn't show this in the video. I just bought I think it was a 1-inch bar, that acrylic, and drilled a hole in it, put it on my pin mandrel, and turned it true so that I had the hole centered. Then I just didn't show that little part in there. So I think it's kind of hard if you get the right size acrylic and try and center that hole. I don't know how hard it would be to get that exact. But other than that, it came out great. But figure out some other way to bond acrylic to wood, and I'm sure like an epoxy, 5-minute epoxy or something like that will bond it, because there's actually a lot of pressure when you're pulling it off there, because it's threading itself into this, so it's not like a bolt. But I think this is the best way to do it. I think they're pretty standard. I went to the auto parts store and they all seem to be the same size, but the problem with putting a whatever it is 3/8 inch bolt up in there, getting it centered, getting it right on, and then when you go to thread the thing on, if these are just round, but you could do an offset one where it needs to line up, and the problem with that is the bolt, when it bottoms out on the rod, it might not be centered. This right here, you put that in there, you can just crank it to wherever you want it, and then it's centered, and you can line it up and the thread stops. So I think that's the best way to go, if we can figure out some way to get it to stick to the wood. But thanks for watching it. Don't forget to subscribe.